In 1970, the foreign-born population of the United States was 5%. In January of 2025, it hit a new record of 15.8%. And that demographic change has been felt acutely in our home state of California.
We're up to 53 million people. Nobody can figure out the surge. Trump, everybody is bewildered why Joe Biden or whoever was controlling him did this. Where I live out in the country, if a person had a one-bedroom house or something, why not bring in Winnebagos or sheds and put some Romex, have a porta potty? And so on the street avenue I live on, there may be 40 or 50 people living in a single family zone residence. The way I look at it is, if the first thing you do when you enter the United States is break the law, and the second thing you do is break the law when you reside here illegally, and the third thing you do is get some type of identification, and you know that the host allowed you to do that, then you develop a contempt for the host, and you feel that they must feel guilty, or they feel they're not able, they're impotent, whatever, but you develop a contempt for the American government, maybe Americans too.
Welcome back to Expert Playback. What you just heard from Victor Davis Hanson isn't just statistics, it's his lived reality. From his farm in California's Central Valley, he's watching America's demographic transformation firsthand. At 15.8% foreign-born, we've hit levels not seen since the early 1900s. And Victor argues this isn't just changing neighborhoods, it's changing the country itself.
You have the corporate people want, they're not the driving force, but they like the cheap labor. Then you have the Mexican government. They're recipients of $63 billion in remittances. Then you have the cartels that have a lot of contact. I think we really underestimate how ubiquitous they are in California, drugs and everything. California, as you know, it's the most regulated state in the country, and it's the least regulated. So it has 20% of the population is at or below the poverty line. 1/3 of people on public assistance live in California. 40% are on Medi-Cal. 50% of all births are Medi-Cal. Rasmussen just recently had 62% of Hispanics express confidence in the first 100 days. And I don't think the left had any idea that that would happen or would happen so quickly.
Here's what makes Victor's analysis so compelling. He's not just talking theory. He lives in ground zero of America's immigration surge, where corporate agriculture meets cartel corridors and progressive politics. That consortium he describes, cheap labor, remittances, open borders, future voters, it's not abstract policy debate when it's happening in your backyard. And here's the kicker. Even as California strains under this pressure, Hispanic voters are increasingly supporting tougher immigration enforcement. That tells you something profound is shifting in American politics.
Rome has now become from 300,000 to over 1 million. And the number of people who are Italian natives, given 1 million slaves came in from Gaul alone. And the number of people who are Italian or reflect that in the literature is considered dwindling, eroding, and it's kind of disheartening when your family's been there since 1870 and you're afraid to walk a quarter mile out of your house at night in the dusk because you don't know who's going to be there or what they're doing. But it's not going to be good. I think we're somewhere in that period between the Battle of Actium and the death of Octavian Augustus, 31 to 14. We're in a transitional period where our globalization is the modern equivalent of an empire. If you want 16% of your population foreign-born, then you have to have a immersion program of integration, assimilation, adaptation. We don't. A lot of the anti-Americanism comes from because of our American left, trying to impose all of these different ideas on the mistaken ability that because these countries use our technology or they communicate globally with us, that they want a Super Bowl halftime show, and they don't.
Yeah.
They really don't.
Victor's Rome comparison isn't just academic, it's a warning. Late Republican Rome got wealthy, but lost its civic foundation. Sound familiar? We're at 15.8% foreign, born with no assimilation plan, while our cultural exports breed resentment abroad. Victor calls this immigration wave the most dramatic event of his lifetime, and he's lived through the Cold War and 9/11. The question isn't whether this changes America. It already has. Are we Rome before the fall, or America before renewal?
It's going to take a generation or more to deal with the most recent surge. It was the most dramatic event in my life, it affected my life. As I walk around my orchard at night, I will find appliances, washers, dryers. Just people don't have garbage pickup. They don't want to pay for it. They'll just come out at night and dump it. I'll see people with guns that are stripping out a semi. They're trying to look at the symptoms that gave us the progressive project. I don't know if they're going to win that or not.
Yeah.
I think sometimes they have no idea how ambitious this project is and how entrenched and powerful are their adversaries.
And we don't know
We don't.
how deep those roots actually go.
We don't.
If that Rome comparison was helpful, please give the video a like. It helps other people see and share the video. We break down these conversations every week, so go ahead and subscribe to see more playback. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.